All right, bang. Today is Thursday. It is January 18th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. I have an in-studio guest. His name is PFT Commenter. PFT, thank you for doing this. What's up?
Hello, Eddie. Doing really well. Having a great week.
How are you? Are you having a great week?
No, I'm not actually.
It's like the worst.
This sucks. Can we just say it like this sucks? The winter in Chicago, it fucking blows. In New York, it was bad. There are actually some things about Chicago winter that I prefer over New York winter, though.
What are that?
You don't get that hot fucking sun like you get in New York. Mm-hmm. There's nothing worse, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. That made no sense. You don't get the cold fucking sun that you get in New York. I absolutely hated the days when it was like 15 degrees, 20 degrees outside, and you had that bright, cold fucking sun staring you in the face. Mm-hmm. Chicago, you don't get that.
No.
You get the overcast clouds, and you get snow, which is nice. Like, if it's going to be cold outside, it better be snowing. So I'm happy that there's white on the ground. I'm happy that there's snow. It makes it a little bit more interesting as opposed to just walking outside and be like, well, this sucks.
See, that is a take that I understand and especially expect for people who are new, but the snow is the worst, actually.
Oh, you don't like it?
No. Because it just makes everything more complicated. Because now you're in stage 1, right? Stage 2, well, we're in stage 2. It's all frozen now.
Yeah.
Okay? So now once it all starts to melt, like, say goodbye to any pair of shoes or anything that you wanted to wear that are not boots.
Okay.
You know, like, you're just fucked. And everything is just gross. And it's not like just wet. It's like muddy, brown, like black mud wetness. You know?
City snow is different.
Yes.
City snow it's like way dirtier. There would be snow in New York that lasts until like, you'd see piles of gray snow everywhere in the city until like mid-March. I'm sure it's probably the same way here.
100% the same way. And I think it's like, listen, I'm all about like, hey, let's do a white Christmas. But once you're in January, February, and there's like really no point for it to be anymore, and we'll get it all the way up to April sometimes.
Yeah, I prefer it if it's cold outside for some snow to be falling from the sky. And I don't like the melting process of snow. That part sucks.
Yes.
But the snow's good. Actually, so it's been so cold here. I drove home 2 nights ago. We were doing a live stream watching the playoff games. I get home at about, I don't know, 1:30, 1:45 in the morning. Pretty tired. Not like we have the hardest job in the world, but we spent, 12 hours being kind of on. And then we recorded a podcast, socializing. Mm-hmm. And I just want to go home and go to sleep. Get back to my place, pull up to the garage, hit the garage door opener. Nothing happens. And I'm like, what's going on here? I hit it again. And I see there's a little bit of movement. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, fuck, my garage doors. It's broken. I don't know what's going on. And the crazy thing is, me and Big Cat on the way out, the last thing we said to each other, we're walking out to our cars, talking about the weather. He's like, yeah, at least we got garages, though. It's so nice having a garage. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I only have to truly be outside for about 20 seconds a day if I want to when I'm going from my car into the Barstool office. So I just gotten done talking about how great it is. At least we have the garage. I get home, garage doesn't open. I go inside, walk into the garage from the inside of the house, and it's in a bad state of affairs. I hit the button to try to open it up again, and the bottom of the garage door was frozen to the ground. That's how cold it was. Because it had been snowing, there was ice that day. The garage door was frozen to the ground, so you have the motor trying to lift the garage door up, and the bottom of it being stuck, and it pulled my garage door apart. The motor pulled the top off, like the top, like going all the way across the garage. It just separated in the middle and lifted up. It's still like kind of connected, but it's like a big fucking crack in there. So I had to go outside. I had to boil water, carry water out to my garage, and then pour boiling water onto the floor to melt the ice before I could open up my garage. Yeah. So yeah, besides that, Chicago winter is great.
Yeah, those are problems you have.
Why don't we just live in San Diego? Would there be a problem in doing Barstool Sports in San Diego?
Man, I took a family vacation there in like 97, and I'd always had like aspirations, like I'm going to live here someday. This is where I want to, like, someday I want to live here. And then like I'm like, you grow up, and obviously I love being here. I'm from here, and I like can't really imagine myself anywhere else. I recently went there in November for like one of those high noon things, and I was like, dude, this is unbelievable. comfortable.
Yeah, it's great. November, what was it like? 72 degrees outside?
Yeah. Like it was like, little light jacket, you needed something, but like comfortable.
Yeah.
Comfortable in like a light jacket.
Can you tell me about those high noon tours that you're doing? So you've been places with like a crazy group of people, right?
Yeah, kind of. So there was like, at the beginning of the year, there was like 6 games that they're like, hey, we need like people to go to these, and there was like 3 people to each of them, because I think what happened was there was like a college football tour schedule, and then once Penn pulled out, like they like reformulated the whole schedule. So we needed to like do kind of like a make good. That's what I understand it, but I could be wrong. And so there was like Boulder, there was Columbus, there was San Diego, there was Athens, there was all these places, and I just signed up for Athens and San Diego, and that's what I did.
Smart man. Boulder's a great town too.
Yeah. We did a proper 12 thing there too. That was my first time. It was awesome.
Yeah, if I had to do it all over again, I would tell little PFT, hey, go to a big ass state school. Have a great day. Go to LSU. Yeah. That would be so amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, JMU was fun at the time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like we weren't in the national discussion for football. We did win a natty when I was there, but that was like Division 1 AA at the time.
Yeah.
So that was fun, but it's not the same. Like, you can't beat the atmosphere of going to a big state school for a college football game.
Yeah, it's night and day.
I would have formulated my entire education around sports, around watching sports.
It's truly night and day. Did you honestly? We got to go back to the garage door real quick. Mm-hmm. Did you know how dangerous garage doors are?
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Watching the motor turn and like how heavy it was and the big sounds it was making and shit. I was like, people probably, it'd be very easy to like accidentally kill yourself with the garage.
Yes. So the thing is, and I don't know, like this is like a new fear unlocked kind of thing. Like I like these weird things of like how I don't want to die, Yeah. And this immediately jumped into that bucket. So the spring like recoils at like the pressure that's of some type of pressure that is just like catastrophic. It's like, heavy metal.
Yeah.
And if someone's trying to fuck with their spring, don't do that, because if it breaks or if it recoils into your face, it literally just tears your face off pretty much.
Yeah. Springs are scary.
Yeah.
Like tightly wound coils are pretty dangerous. Also, the garage might be the most dangerous room in the house because you can die via the door shutting on you, the spring. If you turn your car on inside the garage, that'll kill you too.
Yep.
And then I saw the ending of Star is Born, and that's not good either.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's 4 ways. Yeah, but the first one, with the garage smash, I feel like they mostly are censored now. The days of the Scream doggy door, they're all getting pulled up and into that gruesome death.
Yeah,
might be over.
Yeah, but it's just so powerful. I just somehow imagine myself getting somehow caught in like the chain even, and the chain just is swinging me around, just like tearing me through all these tiny places. Fuck garages. That was one thing I was not prepared for. Like I went out, bought snow boots, made sure I got a car that's all-wheel drive, got really warm gloves, some thermal underwear. I was not ready for my garage door freezing to the ground.
Yeah, little inconveniences like that. Like you go to your car on a day like today, and you try to open the handle and the handle just rips off. Yeah. There's like little shit like that. You're just like, dude, like, can this get any worse?
Yeah. So I had to park my car on the street because the garage door wasn't working. So I parked it on the street, and then I got a notification from OnStar, because when you get a new car, they give you like 6 months of OnStar for free, which is nice. And I'm probably going to forget because I'm lazy to cancel it. So that's how they get you. I got a notification being like, somebody is currently attempting to break into your car. Do not approach your car. Call the police. Like, that's the push notification that I got. And I look out my window. There's nobody around my car. It was so cold that my car thought that it was being broken into.
Yes.
Like by Jack Frost. I don't know what it was, but it was so cold outside. It was like, warning, your car is being broken into. Do not approach.
Yeah.
And then I get in my car, I turn it on, and the screen flashed in front of me. It's like, it's so cold outside, we've reduced the power of your car. There's just like crazy shit that humans are not supposed to be in this weather.
We're not just not built for it. Yeah, same way. Like obviously with my car, electric battery, like it's sucked up like so fast. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wild.
You know what sucks is that Blake really loves the cold. Because he's half St. Bernard, and then he's got some Great Pyrenees in him too. So he fucking loves the cold. So if I'm taking him outside, he wants to stay out and just run around for forever. We were the only people at the dog park the other day. He was having a blast, and I I was so bundled up, and there was only like 3 inches of my face that was exposed to the cold. And I felt like I was getting stabbed. And after 10 minutes, I was like, dude, we got to go. We got to go, man. He's like, no, I don't want to go. I want to play.
Sorry, Blake.
Yeah, sorry.
Can't do it.
He's grittier than I am.
Do you have a yard, though?
Get a small yard,
okay.
yeah, so I can let him out there.
All
but, then the other thing is like the dog poop starts to pile up in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So
he doesn't really let his hair down in the yard.
No.
Like he does somewhere else.
Yeah, he likes to jam out.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That understands. But Blake, it's just sorry. Just can't do it.
But I do love Chicago, besides that.
So everything, that's kind of what we can get around back to that. So you're like 8-9 months in?
Yeah.
Or something like that? So like you're in?
I'm in. I'm fully in it now, yeah.
Because I remember I
put on like 10 pounds. I'm a real Chicago guy.
There you go. And I remember we went to dinner probably like this time last year.
Yeah.
Like when you were looking for places and you're like, yeah, I kind of want to get acclimated. And you're like, the big thing I need is like, I need to find a Tex-Mex place. Like that's something I miss more than anything from my time down in Texas. Mm-hmm. Have you been able to accomplish that?
So many.
Really?
So many
good.
places.
Good.
So much, not just Tex-Mex. I found a couple good Tex-Mex places, but Mexican food in general.
Yeah.
It's so good here. And in New York, you don't get Mexican food that much. Mm-hmm. You have to go way deep into Queens or into Brooklyn to get it. I don't know why. I think there are more Mexican people in Chicago by far than there are in New York City. In New York City, you got Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. You got great Cuban places too. But here it's like, yeah, a lot of good Mexican food.
Yeah, that's what I had a buddy I used to work with. I've told the story before, but he grew up in Tijuana, and then he moved to San Diego, and then he lives here now. And he's like, obviously California is very known for their Mexican food as well. He's like, I would put anything here up against there because, they're so close to the border. But
it's legit great Mexican food.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here for sure. What about everything else? How are you enjoying like the new flow of work and everything? Is it like, it's not that much different than New York, right? Like you still come in, you know what days you got to do the pod and stuff, right?
Yeah, I'd say the schedule is probably the same as it was in New York. But there's a lot more to do around the office. Like obviously the golf simulator, basketball court, it's good. We were talking about starting a January 6th style revolution though against the Yak and their draconian basketball and golf simulator use policies. I don't know. There's some momentum being gained in the office.
I mean, we got a couple soldiers up here in the corner.
Yeah,
we can help you.
They're
out.
ready to ride. I got 3 guys that at the word go, Big T's going to be marching on the Yak and just being like, hey. Enough's enough. We gotta be able to play some ball every now and again between the hours of noon and 2.
Yeah, you can't. 12:01. It's like you can't use the driver.
Yeah,
Driver's calling.
That's pending. I'm having some conversations with some very high up people on the Yak to discuss these policies. I'm not going to say who. But we'll see what happens with that.
All right, good. That's great. But I think a big difference is, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. A big thing about New York is like people obviously live there at that office because they don't want to go home because they live
only
in
page views. YP,
that him definitely. But like a lot of people, you're not want to go back to your studio and whatnot. Like it's just so you're like everyone's cramped up. It's just better to be at the office. So I wonder if that's been different, where it's like you're like a lot of people have more space and everything, and you're kind of just able to have more of a not a life outside of work because everyone does have a life outside of work, but more more separation, I guess.
Yeah, there's something nice about just driving a car to work and then driving a car home too. Mm-hmm. In New York, the shitty thing about I always told people like I like New York. I didn't love it, but I understand why people love it. You like go to work first thing in the morning, then you come home at like 6:30 p.m. And I'm talking like everybody that I know with normal desk jobs too in New York. You get home at like 6:30, 7 at night, and then you order Seamless or Grubhub, and then you do the same thing again. Like you don't feel like it's real life. You're just either at work all the time or you're home getting ready to go to sleep. Yeah. And in Chicago, you have like definitely more of a vibe of, okay, I'm home. What am I going to do with my evening? If there's no sports on or anything, it feels more like real life. Being able to get that like 15 minutes in between work and home, where you're like decompressing from your day on the drive home.
Do you like that better?
I like driving. Yeah. I'm not very good at it, but
dude, the driving decompress is awesome.
Yeah. Or sometimes you can decompress too much and then you just end up like deflated, like Brandon Walker. Whereas,
well, he's too far.
Hour and a half, is that what it is?
When the 90 construction's going, yes. Without it, he's like 55.
All right, talk to me about the 90 construction. As somebody who's new in town that doesn't understand the history of the 90 construction, it seems like one day, 2 months ago, or a month ago, they just said, we're not going to have traffic problems anymore. Okay, you can now drive on the 90.
Yeah, so what the thing is they announced it was either a 3-year, I believe it was a 3-year project they announced that they were going to redo all the bridges because all the bridges are falling apart and just the infrastructure needs to be updated. And they can't do that during the winter because it's too cold. From what I understand, it just won't take. So they are doing it March to November, and then you get a 3-month off. And when I say it is the biggest game changer of all time, it truly is. My commute went from 55 to an hour to 19 minutes on some days. It's that drastic.
I thought that I didn't think that they were doing anything. I thought that every day they just set up cones on 2 of the lanes, and then they're like, okay, we're going to take the cones down for a few months. Enjoy.
Yeah, no, I'm sure a lot of people believe that too, but it sounds like the plan was they were going to do the inbound lanes, then they were going to do the express lanes, which is the middle ones, and then they were going to do outbound. Sounds like year one they got that done, and next year it's going to be the express lanes. But everyone's obviously not very optimistic. They're saying 3 years. We think it's gonna be 5, but it's a big talking point because it's the main artery from O'Hare, from large suburbs that are up there like Schaumburg and those kind of places. So it's a big deal.
I got a question to ask you too about maybe where to spend some time in the summer around here.
Yes,
I was thinking about just going up to what is it, the Dells?
Yes.
Just living at the Dells for a month.
Let me tell you this, PFT.
How many water parks?
You don't even need to do it in the summer. The Dells has indoor water parks, and that bitch is all year round.
Nice.
Yes. So that's a thing where I think actually us and Wonton Donna, we're supposed to go up there in a few weeks.
Really?
Yeah, so if you want to come, shoot a little video.
If I'm around, I'm in.
Yeah, it's...
Can you drink beer and go on the water slides?
They sell beer at the water slides. They sell beer at all the water parks. There's 3 main ones, and they all live in indoor water park. And in the summer, obviously, you get the mini golf, you get the outdoor water parks open, you get go-karts. It's basically just a huge tourist... It's Myrtle Beach of the Midwest.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What about the Cheese Castle?
The Cheese Castle is right over the border. Another very strong place, all the cheese you can handle. They also got a nice little place where they make hot food and a bar and whatnot. It's. I mean, if you love cheese, they have everything you want for you.
I love that because if you go to some dirtier parts of the South, they always put the strip club right on the state border.
Yeah.
So that you can get out of Dodge real quick if you have to. In Wisconsin, their equivalent is we're gonna put the Cheese Castle on the state border. So if you gotta blow the joint, you gotta get back to Chicago real quick. You're good.
Yeah, well, actually, back in the day, from what all our parents tell us and stuff, was that Wisconsin was one of the last ones to change the drinking age. So it was 18, so that was the big thing. You'd cross the border of Wisconsin to go booze there. And then obviously there was too many drunken driving accidents and whatnot, so they changed that. But I think it is still legal. You might be able to confirm this, Lance. If you're with your parents, you could drink it any age.
Yeah, I believe it's you're over the age of 16 and you're with your parents. It could be drink. 18. You can drink at a bar in Wisconsin.
Yes.
That rocks.
Yeah.
In Texas, the law is, what was it? It was you could give a beer to a parent, to a guardian. So a parent could order a beer, be like, I'd like a Coors Light. You hand it to them, and then they can hand it to their child.
Oh.
But a server couldn't do it. Couldn't serve a 18-year-old a glass of beer. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. If you ever go to Ireland or any country in Europe where they grow up drinking wine, like France, they don't drink wine for dinner from the age of 12. They have a much more healthy outlook on alcohol than I think we do in the U.S., which is you're not supposed to drink. So if you're a teenager, you just drink all the beer that you can in a 12-hour time spot when there's no adults around.
Yes, exactly. You're right. And there should be a gradual thing too, where it's your first year, you should only be allowed beer and low alcohol volume. The spirits should come. It should be tiered.
Yeah, Coors Kids.
Yeah, it should be.
It's Coors with in multicolored letters with a Z at the end of it.
Yeah, just tier it and let everyone get a soft landing, see how you feel. And then you really could get a grasp on how everything works, I think.
Yeah, alcohol is good for you in moderation.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, big news on the week, dude, at Barstool related, was that Erica's leaving.
Yeah.
What, any thoughts on that, your relationship with her?
Yeah, Erica and I will always have a very unique relationship, I think, because she was hired about a month or two, I think, after I was hired. And so she might have been the next employee at Barstool after me. And she came into the New York office. When we moved in, I think there were like 10 of us that moved into the office that first week. And she was there. And we both got to see Barstool go from what it was before, which was a fantastic company that it needed like just the smallest bit of professionalism around like the sales process. To explode, because it had such a dedicated diehard audience. And that was, to me, that was also a pretty big selling point on why I decided to come here in the first place. Was like, one, they seem like very fun people that are doing interesting things, and also like the audience fucking loves them. And they're waiting to blow up right now, and so I'd like to be a part of that. And Erica saw that, and when we got there, it was like the shittiest office ever. We had people working in closets. We had just so many weird things that happened in that like ragtag group of people that were in the New York office. And getting to see what she did and the work that she put in, and how she took it from being, a very successful but like almost underground thing. I would say at the time Barstool was like just at that breaking point, like when you see a band that's getting ready to go on tour and they start to open up for like a huge act. That's what Barstool felt like. It was like it was a kind of a frat house, but not, I don't want to say frat house, but it had that like vibe to it where everybody was like friends in the office, and it was cool. And when she came in, she immediately like fixed the sales process, worked on marketing, just took it from a great product to now a great product that everybody has to be aware of at all times. And like without Erica, I don't think that we end up doing the Comedy Central deal for that first Super Bowl in Houston. Without Erica, we don't, well, you can say good and bad, probably don't, the ESPN thing might not happen. But I think ultimately that was a good thing. But what she's done for the company has been pretty crazy to see. Like the growth has been, I think, beyond what anybody expected.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And you said that, I'm a little hazy during that period, but I would have bet money that she was there before you, and she like kind of was part of what pulled you in.
No.
So you jumped into like a non-CEO, like a really wild west version of Barstool.
Dave was the CEO, yeah. Dave ran the show. And that was a cool thing too, because I knew that like what they had was lightning in a bottle, and it seemed like a great place to be. But no, Erica came in after I moved to New York. I think she came there about 2 months after I did, maybe a month after I did, because we went out for lunch one day. She's like, I want to introduce myself. We went out to like a burger place. I think I drank like 5 beers at lunch. Which I was eager to take advantage of the company card at the time. And Erica had a couple beers too, and we were just like kind of in the same boat. We were like, this is a great opportunity. I can't wait to do it. This is going to be great. Like I think we both knew it was going to be successful, but I didn't think that we knew it would get to this point.
Yeah. And go back to that for a second. So you were like, you said you saw the lightning in a bottle. That's why you wanted to come there. And before that, you don't got to get in the whole history, but you were doing Kissing Susie Colbert. You were doing some like serious stuff. Is that right?
I was doing Kissing Susie Colbert, ASP Nation. I was blogging there, and I was writing full time, and probably spending like 50 hours a week at my computer just cranking out blogs, which is it's not hard work. It's not physically demanding or anything, but I do miss being able to sit down and write all the time. You know, like writing, I think that's one thing that I know, like deep down inside, like if you give me enough time, I can sit down on a computer and write a 5,000 word column about the NFL that I will be very proud of at the end of it. So there's just no time to do that anymore. But at the time I was cranking out blogs, and Big Cat and I followed each other online. And I got accused of stealing some of his jokes. He got accused of stealing some of my jokes. So that's why we started to follow each other. And then I was up in Chicago for a wedding one time, and we went out. We met up at some bar in River North, I think. And he was like, yeah, maybe one day you can work for Barstool. This is probably like 2014. I was like, yeah. He's like, maybe you can do Barstool, Texas, because I was living in Austin. I was like, I don't know if I want to be like the Barstool, Texas guy, because I'm not like from Texas. I'm not like, I don't particularly root for any teams from Texas. It was cool to see the University of Texas doing well in football while I was there, but I'm not like a diehard Texas guy. I think people would have like sniffed that out and be like, well, this guy, he doesn't live.
As he wears a Stroud Boys t-shirt.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. I'm a DC fan. Like I'm going to root for the Redskins at the time, not the Cowboys. So I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do Barstool, Texas. So we just kind of like pushed it off for a while. I was pretty happy with the work that I was doing at KSK and SB Nation, even though they were paying me like dog shit. And then I was a free agent, and I was taking meetings left and right. I was wheeling and dealing, getting no job offers from anybody. My sticking point was like, I would like healthcare. I'd like to be able to go to the doctor every now and again, because when you're playing rugby and you don't have healthcare, you're rolling the dice like every time you wake up in the morning.
It's a poisonous combo.
Yeah. So Big Cat was like, yeah, we got this investment from Chernin. If you're interested in podcasting, because I'd started to do my own podcast at the time. People forget, was it Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley? I think that's their podcast that they do called The Steam Room. That was my fucking podcast. The Steam Room was on Sirius XM Radio.
Really?
And I did 3 episodes of it, and I was negotiating and trying to figure out, okay, how much can I get paid so I can do this podcast every now and again, and I can also blog on my own time. And the offer they came back to me for, I'll have to check my email exactly, but I think they offered me $35 a week to do the podcast.
$35.
Yeah, and I was so mad when I got that offer. Like that's the most insulting offer that I've ever seen in my life. And I saw, like, I was doing it on Opie Radio at the time. You remember Opie and Anthony?
Oh yeah,
those guys. So they had their own Sirius channel.
Yep.
And Eric Stengel was working for them as a producer, and he asked me if I would do a podcast. So I was like, yeah, Eric knows his shit, so I'll try it out. And I saw the podcast like jumped up in the charts after my episode came out. I had interviewed Danny Woodhead on episode 1. I was like, maybe I can podcast. Maybe this is something that I'd be able to do. And when I got the $35 a week offer from Sirius, that really took the wind out of my sails.
You're like, this is like never gonna happen, or you're like, there's no money in this, or I need to go somewhere else. What was your initial reaction to that?
My reaction was like, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. Like it wouldn't really damage your budget if you just said $50. You even think like $100 a week? You think Sirius would be like, whoa, what's this line item here for PFT Commenter? $100 a week. $35 a week. Yeah.
That's not even like a DoorDash order.
No.
That's like,
I lost so much money on that podcast because my first episode, I was like, I've never done this before. I kind of want to be in the studio doing it the first time with my producer in the studio because I don't know what to do. So I flew up to New York. I spent like $450 on a round trip plane ticket, stayed on my friend Colin's couch in New York City. And I ended up probably losing meals, all that shit, probably close to like $700. I was negative $700 on my first podcast. And this motherfucker said $35.
and what was SB paying you at the time?
I don't remember exactly. I think I was getting like $1,500 a month from them.
Okay.
And then at KSK, I was getting, they couldn't pay, like Uprocks wasn't paying anybody at the time. But I think they were doing like $35 a blog.
Okay.
And I could write up to 2 blogs a day. So I was doing 2 blogs a day at KSK, and then I was writing 1 column on Monday, like a long column at SB Nation, then a long column on Friday. So
okay.
I was scraping together.
And did you have your other job at that point?
I also wrote for the Austin Chronicle, covering the Texas Longhorns a little bit. But that was like serious stuff. Like, well, not serious, but it wasn't like PFT. Covering the Longhorns. I don't think they would have liked that very much.
Picturing you writing serious columns about like Mac Brown and the Vince Young Texas is very funny to me for some reason.
Oh, I probably had some bad takes. I think I wanted Charlie Strong to get a contract extension after he beat Oklahoma one time. Yeah.
Did you ever use respectively in there?
I don't know.
That's my favorite in the columns. It's like he's went 13-3 respectively. You know what I mean? That's always my favorite thing to read the column.
I got to go back and read some of those. I fought tooth and nail to get Hornography as the title for each blog, and I think they used that. It was Hornography with Eric Sollenberger.
But didn't you like have like just a totally non-sports media job at one point too?
Yeah, I was at the time. I was a software salesman.
Okay.
I had a few jobs down there. I was the used dog salesman when I first moved down there. $5.25 an hour.
Used dog?
Yeah, plus tips. Yeah, I dog adoption counselor is what most people call them, but I I was selling used dogs.
Oh, wow.
I was like, this dog's great. This dog would look really good with you. Yeah.
You got to buy Philip.
Yeah, buy this dog's a chick magnet. So that was fun until the guy that ran the place, it was like a 501c3 nonprofit. And then one day the guy that ran the place just disappeared, and there were probably hundreds of dogs that were at the shelter that we had no idea what to do with them, because this guy just like went to Mexico or something. And he left all these dogs out there. So at that point I was like, yeah, I don't know that I want to work for this place anymore. So then I sold portable air conditioners, portable humidifiers, air coolers, tankless water heaters, kegerators, beer fridges, built-in fridges, ice makers. That was all at this one like not telemarketing job, but I was in like a boiler room where people would be calling me. So it was like inbound sales. And then I got out of there because it wasn't paying very much, and I started selling custom software for a few years. And that was a good job. But that's the job that I walked away from to start doing like sports writing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, if I can ever get paid $50,000 a year to write about sports for the rest of my life, that's what I want to do. That's honestly, I told my boss that when I quit my software sales job. I was like, the money's not important to me. Like this job pays way more. So I'm gonna walk away from that because like I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I was miserable.
What were you topping out with software?
I think my highest grossing year was like 150, 140. It was good. Yeah.
Great.
Especially in Austin at the time. Now it's not like super good in Austin because so many people have moved there. But yeah, I was super comfortable. I was doing great. I was, on the financial side, I was very happy with how things were going. But I also knew that you can get addicted to making that kind of money.
Yeah.
So if you make money like the most important thing all the time, then you're not going to want to ever leave. Like I could see myself just 15, 20 years down the line being like, well, I just wasted my younger years working at a job that I hate just because I like getting paid. So it's like, you know what? I'm going to leave. I'm going to try to blog this thing out.
So you were happy financially, like you said, but like deep down, you just weren't fulfilled in what you were doing.
Yeah, it sucked. I was pissed off every morning going to work. I would listen to Mike and Mike going in usually, and then at lunchtime I would go back and forth between Scott Van Pelt and Russillo and Alex Jones, who was on the radio in Austin. So it was always a trip. I love my lunch. I would just sit in my car listening to the radio the entire time, and then go back to work, get pissed off being at work, and then go home and be pissed off that I had to do it again.
That's hard to imagine for me, because honestly, like you moving here, like you're just someone who I really admire the way that you go about your days and like the way you treat people, and the way just like you're just like a positive energy kind of guy. So to picture you like kind of like just like like this sucks, like that's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, I was bummed out. I was really bummed out in Austin. Just like on the professional side, I do miss it though. Like maybe I'll move back there at some point. I've thought about that.
Really?
Get back to Texas. No state income tax.
Yeah,
that's nice.
That is nice.
Hang out with Elon.
That's nice.
Maybe I'll start like in my retirement, I'll team up with Rogan.
Yeah.
We'll do a sports podcast where we talk about bow hunting all the time.
Yeah, just build like a little office off the side of wherever his compound is now.
Yeah.
And you could just report there.
Yeah. Austin's really blown up recently too.
Yeah, I've never been.
I think a lot of comedians have just moved to Austin to be around Joe Rogan, to be in the same
1000%.
city as Joe Rogan. It's like, well, yeah, this is Joe Rogan town. So you just move there until you hope that Joe notices you somehow.
But dude, the rub off you get from that is like honestly a career path for some of these people now.
Yeah.
Because the rub off, I guess is the best way to put it, is seriously like huge.
You go on a show one time and then
yes,
you're set. I think a lot of people are also just performing at his his comedy club that he has downtown, hoping that he's going to be there one night when they perform, and then they've made it.
100%.
What's everyone when you're coming up, you're like, I can't wait till I make it. Yeah. And I don't know if anybody ever truly makes it, but unless you happen to go on the Joe Rogan podcast, at that point you're minted. You're good to go.
Yeah. That's a great question to ask you though. Do you feel like you made it?
Yeah, I think so, but like part of my take has gotten so big that I think it'd be dumb for me to say like, no, every day you go in, you think about like how to get better, all that's true. Like I want to do the best show possible. I take pride in like all the work that we do. But at the same time, like, yeah, part of my take is so fucking massive now that yeah, I do feel like at this point, no complaints about how anything's gone.
Yeah, because I mean, it's wild to think about. Like, we're officially a decade, it's 2024, so we're a decade away from you getting that $35 a week offer.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Pretty good. Now double that and then multiply it by $10,000, $75,000 an episode. Pretty good. Pretty good. People out there will be like, yeah, he makes 75 grand.
Yeah.
Listen, we converted to Bored Apes. We get paid. We told people we get paid 3 apes an episode plus a slurp juice. I can't wait for crypto to come back. That was such a fun moment.
It sounds like it's bouncing back a little bit, right? Or didn't it just dip again? I don't know what's going on with Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin. I separate Bitcoin from like the deep crypto shit.
Oh, the other ones, yeah.
Do you have any friends that got really into crypto that would have hour-long conversations with you about crypto and you would have no fucking idea what they were talking about the entire time?
No close friends, thankfully.
That's good.
Yeah, but I've had some fringe people for sure.
Yeah, it's all made up. Everything's made up, but I guess money's made up too.
Yeah,
but crypto is especially made up.
Yeah, well, once we got off the gold standard, it was just everything is just kind of
gone to shit.
Yeah, that's what we always refer to it in the podcast to do with Chief. It's like, what the fuck happened in 1960 something, 69 or 1971?
Yeah,
and it's like you could look at like the direct impact of like going off the gold standard to like inflation and everything. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
there's a website about it too.
Have you heard about the dead internet theory?
No, what's that?
So we're going to do a macrodosing on it tomorrow. So I've been studying up on it right now. But it would be very interesting for you guys to look into.
Really?
Yeah, just take this thing on head on as a company, Barstool Sports. Because the theory is that like in 2016, 2017, the internet as we know it completely changed into being run by like only bots and influencers. Mm-hmm. And the conversations that have happened online back in like 2015, 2016 are not the same conversations that are being put out there now. So like most trending topics, you ever see something trending and you have to have somebody explain it to you and you're like, well, this is stupid as shit. Like why should I care about that?
Yeah.
That the theory is that there's like powerful technology and marketing firms that control this technology that are able to boost all their shit to the top of social media and create conversations as opposed to having like organic conversations like we used to have when we were just a bunch of idiots talking shit to each other online.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm kind of buying into it. This is one conspiracy that I think I believe.
Yeah, because you'll look at the trending topics on Twitter sometimes and it'll just be like, he's 27. And it's like, what's that? Like, what could that possibly be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you're like, you dig.
That's usually Leonard Fournette. Yeah.
It's like you just keep digging and it's like a random thing that you never even would have thought about.
Yeah, one of the theories is that Ice Spice was just completely made up by, or she was found by like a talent scout and had no organic audience, no real fans, and then they put like a very, very powerful marketing team behind her and got the best producers to make her music and then flooded the internet and social media with like positive reviews of what she was doing, and then all of a sudden just blew up.
See, I could buy that 100%. Not specifically about Ice Spice. I don't really know anything about Ice Spice, but they use the term industry plant a lot.
Yeah.
I think that something like that does exist.
Nicky Smokes is an industry plant, I think.
You think so?
Yeah, he's an industry. Yeah. I heard that his dad is actually the CEO of Capitol Records. And we should get some rumors going about Nicky Smokes.
Yeah, like what is his past life in Miami.
His funny thing was yesterday he was getting dunked on by Jersey Jerry because Nicky gets dunked on by like everyone.
Yeah.
But he said Jerry said I'm going to go home, get my dick sucked and play Call of Duty, and then Nicky was like, I can't imagine doing that after you just lost a playoff game. And Jerry said, well, yeah, it's hard to do with an 8-ball in your system. And so Nicky screenshotted that and then tweeted out like, I can't, or this is why X isn't free. And it was like, Nicky, the app is free. Like, what are you trying to, the saying is, I can't believe Twitter is free.
Yeah.
That's what people used to say all the time. Now he's like, I can't believe that X isn't free. I just don't know. I don't know. He makes me laugh. I'll give Nicky Smokes that, and he tries.
Oh yeah,
he definitely tries, which is really good. But he likes to dunk on himself sometimes.
Oh yeah, likewise. Like we've been having him on our live show on Tuesdays, and he's great. Like there's something about him where like he just He's like unashamedly like stupid in a way that's like you can only be like, hey, dude, it's okay. You're 24. Like, this is when you're supposed to be stupid.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because we've kind of lost a little bit of that young buck energy.
Yeah, we have.
You know?
We had it for a little bit with Billy Football, like in his early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Just all the confidence in the world and being wrong about everything. Yeah. It's a beautiful combination. It really is.
Yeah, well, that's White Sox Dave to a T.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's never going to lose that, though.
No, exactly. He's a 35-year-old man.
Yeah.
So maybe we don't need the young buck energy. We just need to find more of those types. Like,
yeah.
That's what Nick said. Nick put it perfectly. Like a couple months ago, he's like, dude, I've never seen someone consistently lie about things that are on camera recorded. Like he'll just contradict himself on everything. It's like, no, and it's like, dude, we have you on video saying it. Like but he's just gonna be him.
I am looking forward to Billy Football's bachelor party at some point.
Yeah,
that is going to be a blast.
Is that closer than we think, or
I don't know. I think about it a lot just because I know it's going to be great. Like it's going to be so fucking fun. I think me and Big Cat are going to like helicopter in for a day. We might go to Vegas for what's the perfect amount of time to be in Vegas? Do you think like 36 hours?
I'm a Vegas guy, so I like 3 days. Which I know people are gonna be like, "You're fucking crazy, dude. That's way too long."
Yeah,
I like 3 days.
3 days is too long for me.
Yeah, understandable.
Sure. I like getting in on a Friday. I like going hard that Friday night. I like waking up hungover, doing the rollover minutes where you use some of your drunk from last night into the next day of partying, and then I like staying there. Maybe I could do 2 nights. I think 2 nights in Vegas is probably where I would want to tap out. But the Super Bowl is going to be so interesting because there's going to be some people that get arrested in Las Vegas.
100%.
I can't wait to see who it is.
And like you're just going to be on a blackjack table and like Jay Leno's going to walk up. You know? That's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. We're going to play so much blackjack.
We went to Vegas together before for Dana.
Yeah, that's right. The beers wedding.
Yep, we were playing blackjack at the Aria for like hours.
I was wearing a dress at the blackjack table. Because I had to be, I was a bridesmaid in his wedding.
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to roll up to the blackjack table. I'm dressed right now. People that had no idea like what my deal was. They didn't know what to call me. Yeah. It was great. Everyone was so confused. Yes. I was like chain smoking, drinking whiskey cokes.
Yeah.
It's like I was in a wedding earlier. It's a long story.
Long story. I was a bridesmaid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we played at that table with it was like the bust bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we played for like hours.
There was, I think one day Eddie played 9 hours of blackjack.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah. Vegas is fun, but it's I'm going to have to go to the Sphere. I have to check that out.
Yeah, but that's like made for you. Such like a music guy. Like
yeah.
Or is that like not what you want? Like you want like a basement bar kind of vibe?
I like the basement, like the small places, but I'm going to have to check out the Sphere.
Is there like a schedule on who's playing and whatnot yet? Or
I'm sure they're going to have some big act that's playing the Sphere that weekend. I do like Old Vegas too.
So do I.
Old Vegas is cool. It's very cool.
And I like it just from the gambling situation. Like the tables are cheaper. You have more, there's more like single deck and double deck blackjack. So it's like little edges you could find there that you can't find on the Strip, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out. Might go on some road trips too. There's a lot of good road trips you can take, like that are within driving distance of Vegas for like activities during the day.
Yeah, like what? Like shoot a fucking...
Yeah.
Like shoot a helicopter down and off, you know, they have shit like that all the place.
Yeah, they do. They've got like automatic weapons everywhere that you can fire. Might have to check that out.
Ferraris and shit.
Yeah,
they have all that kind of stuff.
I can't wait to see Frank the Tank like rolling around the Strip.
Oh, he's gonna be. The walks on the Strip are gonna be next level.
Do you think Frank has become like he should be the next CEO of Barstool?
I mean, you certainly could argue that he's the face for a lot of this.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you see the video they put out with Out and About?
I didn't see the full thing. I saw clips.
They gave him a makeover.
Did they?
Tank is hot.
He looked good?
He looked good. He had that confident strut.
Good.
Also, little birdie told me the eventual Mrs. Tank will be a very lucky woman.
Ooh.
I'll put it that way.
I think so too. I agree with that.
I'll put it that way.
I agree.
Do with that what you will.
Someone was this Stu Feiner? You got a shot of this?
Oh, Stu thinks everyone's got a huge dick.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the first thing Stu says when he sees. He's like, "This man Huge penis.
I saw him talking yesterday at the airport about how he was just farting raw sewage. Like, it just shit like that is just is the best.
Remember we had that dinner. Were you at the one where with the Stu dinner where no, I don't think you were at the first one that I went to with Hank. Stu almost didn't make the dinner because he was flying from New York, but he was in the airport and somebody came up and like took a picture with him, and he was on standby and didn't think he was going to get out. So gets the picture taken, then Stu gets called over by the lady at the airline counter, and she's like, "Who are you? Why are all these people taking pictures with you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm a doctor." And the lady was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I've got a lot of very important patients in Chicago, and I have to make some appointments tonight." And so Stu got bumped up on the standby list and got on the flight because they thought he was Dr. Finer.
Stop.
Yeah, yeah. They thought he was a celebrity doctor that had important surgery. Like Obama needs quadruple bypass, so Stu Finer's getting flown out to Chicago tonight to perform the operation.
Did she not hear him talking about eating clit like 5 minutes before that?
He might be a gynecologist.
Yeah, true.
We don't know. Hey. The world's most successful gynecologist.
Sure. No, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
that's great. Just a couple more, PMT questions and whatnot. Was there or actually, I want to go back to how many meetings did you actually take
for jobs?
Yeah.
Let's see. Period. There was the Cauldron. You remember the Cauldron?
Yeah.
Jamie O'Grady.
Big beef with Dave and Jamie O'Grady one day.
Yeah. So he had interviewed me at one point, and then I'd heard a lot of things about, hey, maybe you don't want to work for this guy. Mm-hmm. Not Barstool related people that were saying this, like people that had done business with him before. And there was enough smoke there where I was like, okay, something weird is going on. I remember I wrote a couple blogs for him back when I was just like taking paychecks from whoever. It was probably like 2014, 2015. And he would like text me on the side and be like, "Hey, you need to tweet out the link again." And I'd be like, "Okay." I tweeted out like twice, and then he was monitoring it so closely that if somebody with like over 100,000 followers retweeted it, he would text me and be like, "Let's go. We just got to retweet from this person."
Wow.
And I was like, this is micromanaging things a little bit too much. So I took a meeting with him. Took a meeting actually at Deadspin too, but they just wanted to ask me for information about what SB Nation was doing. Oh. So they used it as like an opportunity to spy, and about halfway through the interview I was like, this doesn't feel like an actual interview. Then they just never got back to me, never offered me a job. And then later on they shamed me for taking the job at Barstool. Mm-hmm. So fuck them. So there were those two. There was a Sports Illustrated thing that fell apart, and then I wanted to get full-time at SB Nation too. Because I'd worked for them for the last 2 years, and I was like, I'll do a podcast, and then I'll be able to blog exclusively for you guys like all the time. And they were like, no, we can't offer you a full-time job. So it's like, okay, well, fuck you. And if you look at the roster of people that SB Nation has let go over the years that have went on to do big things, like they have fumbled the bag big time, repeatedly. Wow.
And so Barstool was basically just competing with the Cauldron at that point?
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't, I never really thought about taking a job with the Cauldron.
Yeah.
Barstool was competing with me doing the same thing that I've been doing.
But do you think if at the time, SB Nation, they offer you the same thing Barstool does, do you think you'd take SB Nation? That
would have been close because I'd worked there. I was already there.
Yeah.
So it felt like more comfortable. But I don't know, there was something about Barstool though, like where I knew that there was something special there, and I wanted the opportunity to work with Big Cat, and I felt like it could really, really blow up, and it would be fun too. Mm-hmm. Like you had an actual workplace environment where people were like having fun and positive energy, and at SB Nation, everyone was like very much spread out, and it didn't seem like the people there loved working with each other all the time. And so at Barstool, it's like, yeah, they show each other that they love working with each other by like talking shit all day long, which is more my kind of speed. So I like that. I think ultimately it was always going to be Barstool, but they were the only ones to offer me a job, which is great.
Dude, so have you seen that person who said nah at SB Nation?
Yeah, I've seen him a couple times, texted him a couple times.
And did they just go like, hey, we made a fucking mistake?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've heard that from a few people, which is always nice.
It's gotta be super nice, dude.
Yeah, because I'm like, yeah, you kind of did, but
I mean, all these places did.
Yeah, my college radio station fired me before, like 2 weeks before graduation, my senior year. took away my show that I've been doing since my freshman year.
What was the reasoning for that?
They said that they got a couple complaints, but really it was just people that were at the station that complained about my show.
Yeah.
So it wasn't from listeners. It was from like people that worked there that complained. 2 weeks before graduation, fired me. So they can suck my dick too.
And so now, has that been a motivator for you? Like, are you
Yeah.
like kind of like a chip on your shoulder kind of guy where it's like, hey, I want to prove to these people, like, hey, you should have given me a fucking chance in 2014.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like Stefan Diggs. I'm just like standing there watching if they celebrate.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to soak this in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, I like being able to be like, I did it. You fucked me. Fuck you.
Yeah. Well, that is crazy. You just wonder what people see sometimes. And obviously you had to deal with the other fact that you worked with people in more like, I don't want to say stuffy journalism, but journalism that doesn't really vibe with what we do here.
Yeah. Oh, people were big mad.
Hugely
Big mad when I joined Barstool.
Yeah.
Like it fucked with me a little bit too for the first couple days, because I had people that I considered to be close friends, like very close friends, be like, fuck you, you're a piece of shit. This is so disappointing that you'd ever do this. You're dead to me. So like, imagine, it's not just like people online saying that, it's people that you've been friends with for 5-6 years that just tell you like, I'm turning my back on you. It's not a good feeling to have. And so the first couple days I was like, I never doubted that I made the right decision. I just knew like, this is going to suck for a couple weeks, maybe a little bit longer. But ultimately it's the right call. So I just had to tell myself that every day. I had to log off for a while too.
Yeah.
It's like, what did Tyler, the Creator, say? Like, how are you going to get cyberbullied? Just turn your phone off.
Yeah. Just turn that shit off.
Yeah, that's what I did for like a week. I was just like, okay, I'm not going to read any of this because it's like deeply affecting me. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to start fresh and it's going to be great.
But that's so different than people you don't know. It's such a difference with people you've built a relationship with.
If it's people that I don't know, okay, who cares?
Yeah.
Everyone has an opinion. Like I would put way less stock in that, but when it's people that like you've gone out to dinners with, that have been supported of you, that have like almost mentored you for a little bit, then it's like, okay, it felt bad for a little bit. At the time, like Barstool was big, but it was not like you get signed to Barstool and you've made it.
Yeah.
You know, like it didn't have this huge audience. It was still very much, we had to make something new and go out there and get all the listeners, all the downloads, all the views on our own. And so it was, it was like a little bit of a roll of the dice, but I think it was, like for me, it was never close between any other place and Barstool, just because I knew that they had something very, very special.
Give or take, how many people were that you knew personally kind of put that out there about you?
Like close friends, I'd say probably 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then people that I've met in real life, worked with, had a good relationship with, I'd probably say like 20 or 30.
How many since have mended the fence and how many since have no contact ever again since then?
I'd say probably 15 or so mended fences. And I'd say 10 of those are still like upset that I did it, but they understand. And then probably 5 of them never talked to them.
Really?
Yeah.
Was there anyone that like really hurt you that you were particularly upset about?
I don't know if I want to name names.
Yeah.
There's a couple people that definitely, like, considering some of the stuff that I've done for them in the past too, for them to like just walk away from me at that point, kind of fucked up. But later on I realized that it's about them and it's not about me. Mm-hmm. So it's really a problem that they have with what they've chosen to do, and they look at me as being like a traitor to helping them. Yeah. So, you know, whatever.
No, I hear you. And that's, I think that's a healthy outlook on it.
Yeah.
For sure. But all right then. I think, I think we got into a lot. I guess, all right, one more thing. Sorry. When was your first moment where you realized that PMT was like not just a good podcast, but like a juggernaut?
A juggernaut. A juggernaut. That's a good term for it. It was fun at the beginning when we would like jokingly break a news story where we tell the person we were interviewing, like, let's make a headline grab, tell us something that people are gonna like write articles about, and then Blake Griffin would say something about the slam dunk contest, and the next day like every sports website was writing about this interview with Blake Griffin. That was cool. But I'd say probably the Adam Morrison Apocalypse Bunker, when we had Kyle Wiltshire on, and he was talking about Adam Morrison and how he like has an apocalypse bunker outside Seattle, and then that was like all anybody talked about the next day was Adam Morrison's apocalypse bunker. And then we had to get Adam Morrison on the show just to deny the fact that he had an apocalypse bunker. And then that created, like, I felt like I was ESPN from 2011 when Ron Jaworski would get on the air and say, like, I truly believe Colin Kaepernick will be the best quarterback in the history of the NFL. And then that makes news. And then every show has Ron Jaworski on to talk about what he said on that previous show. Like, I felt like, okay, I think we've figured out the news cycle where we say something wild and then we have to have follow-ups on it that people are going to listen to dispel the wild thing. That's how you make it happen. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Also, JJ Watt interview, the first time that we met JJ.
Yeah.
So behind the scenes, we did a very bad job in setting that up because we had to raise a bunch of money. I think we said we'd raise like $50,000 to charity in JJ Watt's name, and if JJ didn't do the interview, then we were going to donate it to like ISIS. I think I wrote a GoFundMe, being like, if JJ doesn't take this interview, this money is going directly to Syria and it's going to ISIS and al-Baghdadi or whatever. And then I got suspended from GoFundMe because apparently you're not allowed to fundraise for terrorism. I thought we had the First Amendment in this country. And but we made a big deal out of like raising all this money for JJ Watt's thing. Then we made a big deal about like going there and doing the interview, told people, okay, it's a great interview, you're going to love it. I think JJ had like his Gatorade fridge plugged in, so the sound wasn't that great during the interview. And the interview was like, we were filling each other out for a little bit because he didn't really like us because we just bullied him mercilessly for like 3 years. And halfway through it got a little bit better and we ended up being on good terms afterwards. But we like gassed it up too much. And so when the interview dropped, we were like, hey, fuck you. This isn't like, that interview sucked. So now we've learned if we do anything remotely good, just A, never talk about it before it comes out, or B, undersell the fuck out of it. And then people are going to be excited about it. But when that whole thing happened, it did feel like, okay, if JJ's sitting down with you and he doesn't do interviews anywhere else, that's going to be something that is going to expose you to a much bigger audience and things are going to continue to grow.
Yeah, hype is a killer, man. Hype is a killer. You always undersell, over deliver.
Undersell.
Like that, I definitely buy into that mantra for sure.
That goes for any job. Like, I'm not talking about broadcasting, not talking about the entertainment business, any job. If you're a salesperson and you're like, I think I can flip this Catahoula dog for $200, you don't say that. You say, I think I can put this Louisiana couple on a Catahoula for about 100, 110, then you come back with 180 in your pocket, your boss is happy with you, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And then what now though? Do you still feel as fulfilled? Is it starting to get a little not repetitive, but a little Groundhog Day where you're kind of like, and that's why you're doing macrodosing and everything? Yeah,
you got to try new things. And I'd say if it's Groundhog Day, it's like the best Groundhog Day of all time. And like with sports changing all the time, different storylines, you're always going to find new fun things to start up or to like lean into. So that helps keep it fresh. Also, doing macrodosing and getting to just talk about things completely outside of sports has been fun and a good release for me. And I'm going to get more into the music stuff too here in Chicago too.
Oh, nice.
So we've got some interesting things planned. We're setting up a live stream where I think it's going to be like me, Nick, Donnie, and a rotating caster, whoever wants to join in. We're going to do live streams where we have the chat help us write songs, and then you get to see us write and record the songs with like lyrics and themes and shit from the chat during it. So we're going to do live streams on that from the Macrodosing studio at some point once we get all the tech set up.
Oh, that's really cool.
But yeah, I'm pumped about that.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. So no arbitrary date in your head where like, I want to do PMT for this long.
I don't know. Like you have to think about it at some point. Like and that time is not like in the near future or anything like that. But at some point, I'm going to want to just be able to get drunk and watch NFL games. You know, like that to me, that's the real motivating factors. Like I haven't. This is why podcasting is so hard. I haven't been able to get drunk and watch NFL games in 7 years. Well, Monday night games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you got that Commanders Bears game in a little bit, right?
Oh, that's got to be a yearly thing.
Yeah, I mean now, we play you guys again next year.
It's got to be on a Thursday night again, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
It needs to be like
a rubber match next year.
Also, like, there's a lot of haters out there, Eddie. A lot of people saying like, okay, the Bears have been dog shit for the last forever. They're going to continue to be dog shit. I get it a lot as a Commies fan too. Future is bright for both of our franchises.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be a lot of people out there that regret talking all that shit to us because we got the 1 and 2 pick. You have a good team. You have like a good defense, good skill position players. Your O-line's not bad. And you're maybe...
Just don't love our coach.
Yeah, don't love your coach. Don't love your coach. Is that... Can we just say, like, this is maybe the best free agent coaching class of all time in the NFL. Mm-hmm. You want to stick with Eberflus?
Yeah, I don't get it. And I get it. I understand your reasons for optimism, and I agree with those reasons. But that was definitely like, you started the race, you started the offseason, the gun fired, and we tripped.
Yeah.
We tripped out of the gate.
I would say if you had been competitive in week 1, I'd say like lost by 3 points. Mm-hmm. The mood around Eberflus would be completely different because he had an entire offseason to fix this, and everyone was like, okay, this is going to be a great year. And the fact that he got started off so poorly. Yeah. That will stick in your head for a long time.
You saw me. I remember at that stream, and I remember I was just like looking off in the distance. You're like, you okay, Eddie? I don't know if you remember that, but I was just like distraught. He's like, you all right, man? Like, I'm like, no, I just can't believe that this happens over and over again. Like, these Packers losses break me.
How quickly do you think the world would turn on the Bears fans and Chicago in general if you guys had any success? You think one Super Bowl? Because right now I feel like if the Bears made the Super Bowl, there'd be a lot of people. You're not like lovable losers or anything, but you've been like, you've been fighting against Big Brother for a long time.
Yeah. Like Buffalo has that, right? Where the whole world backs them, and they were lovable losers for a while. Now they're like the crazy people who it's like, let's see them get one.
You guys are kind of like Michigan in a way, where it's like they have a history, but they haven't really won anything important in a long time.
Yeah, I could see that. Are we more or less likable than Michigan?
I'd say more.
I would say we're a little more likable than
because
Michigan,
you're more like blue collar people, down to earth. Michigan people are, they'll let you know that they're from. They think East Lansing, Michigan is Paris, France. They really do. Oh, you've never been?
Ann Arbor.
Yeah, not East Lansing. Yeah. My bad.
I got you.
Yeah.
I actually tweeted that, dude. So the last, obviously Frank is saying 23 seasons. They're the longest playoff win drought now. The Raiders 21, Commanders 18, Jets 13, Bears 13. Yeah. So who gets it first, and who's the longest one after that?
I honestly, okay. Don't clip this or anything because it's not meant for public consumption. It's just me talking. You can keep it in the show, but don't make it a thing. I think the Commanders win a playoff game next year.
Wow.
Because we're going to get Drake May probably. We've got a great new general manager, Adam Peters. He was out in San Francisco last year. He's won 3 Super Bowls as like a front office guy, which is crazy. He's drafted awesome players like George Kittle, drafted him. Fred Warner drafted him. And so we got a great general manager. I think we're going to get Ben Johnson as our head coach, which I cannot wait for. And then, Drake May or Caleb Williams as a quarterback. To me, I could see us win a playoff game.
I could genuinely see our offense going from like just night and day.
We need an O-line. If we can get an offensive line and quarterback, which is okay, that sounds to me like I'm saying after I said it, if we can just get like the 2 most important things, then we'll be good. And a head coach. Yeah, if we can get those 3 new things.
It's time.
Yeah, listen, we got all the pieces in DC, right? Yeah. We just need to fill in the cracks, right? Yeah. We've baked an outstanding pie. We just got to put the little strips on top with the crust, and those pieces are head coach, quarterback, and offensive line.
And then the East runs through Washington.
And I forgot about our entire defense too. Yeah.
But I honestly, I love Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
I think he's a stud.
Beast.
And he's just like he obviously hasn't really broke out the way he should have because of the situation around him, but he's just waiting. He's just on the cusp of like a bursting volcano.
Yeah, he is a very, very talented player.
Yeah.
And if we can get someone to throw him the ball and an offensive line to protect the person that's throwing him the ball and a head coach to tell the entire team what to do and a defense, you don't want to fuck with us.
Yeah.
You don't want to fuck with us.
Hey, I'm buying your hype now. Just like you were saying the Bears praise earlier. Let's just be brothers in arms.
Let's do it. And also, I forgot a new name. We need a new name for the team too.
Yeah, you did that. But like new name, like
new name. Let's run through the new name, new head coach, new quarterback, new offensive line, new defense.
Okay, do all that, and we got to fix a few things. Figure out what we're doing with our quarterback situation. Then I don't see any way Bears Commanders NFC Championship doesn't happen next
Dynasty.
year.
This is gonna be like the Colts and the Patriots. Everyone shat on them for a while before Peyton Manning came into town. Before Tom Brady was there, they were two losing franchises. And now then they just went on to dominate for the next like 20 years. So I think we might be in that same position next year, Eddie.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, is it the craziest thing to say that maybe the Bears could keep Fields and also draft a quarterback?
Honestly, with the way this franchise has gone about the quarterback position, I don't think anything's crazy anymore.
Yeah.
Just keep doing crazy shit till something works at this point.
Like, why not let Justin compete for the starting job against a rookie? If he beats him out, that's great. If he doesn't beat him out, then you've got a rookie coming in that should be very, very good. And if something happens, if you get injured, injuries happen all the time to quarterbacks. You've got maybe the best backup in the NFL that's ready to step in, who's going to be playing for a new contract somewhere else, like a motivated guy. I understand the argument of the entire team has said publicly that they love Justin Fields, so that would be a tough situation for a rookie quarterback to come into. But if you're really fucking good, then it doesn't matter.
No. Same thing with the fifth-year option. It's like, all right, well, we're going to have like whatever. It's 1 year. It's just one more year, and then you figure it out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I change my mind every day. I was all set one thing, and then that Week 18 loss against the Packers broke me again. I'm like, no, I think I'm on the Caleb train. But now it's going. I'm like, I don't know. I'm at peace with whatever we do, and I'll obviously root for the team. I just think, man, I just wish we had a better guy up top.
I love Justin Fields. I think he's a great guy. He's fun to watch.
Yeah.
But you have to draft Caleb Williams.
You think so?
You have to.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I resign myself to that fact that that's probably the right move. And that pain, I love Justin. Justin Fields, people who want to compare Justin to Mitch are like so off base, it's not even funny.
Yeah, completely different.
Completely different.
Justin Fields is still, I think, like an above average quarterback.
Yeah.
For the most part.
He's a top, he's a starter.
Yes.
He could start, he's a top 32 quarterback, which I know is not, you need if you want to be anything, you got to have a top third quarterback. But he's, I don't know. We'll see.
This is going to be a fun offseason for us, though.
It is. Draft night?
Yeah. You're in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, draft night's going to be awesome.
Draft runs through you, Eddie.
That's great. It's a great feeling. All right, then, PFT. We could wrap this up. Thanks for joining me, dude.
Thank you for having me, Eddie.
Yeah, no, I honestly love that you're like, as a guy born and raised here, like, you're like someone who's like, yeah, this guy's one of us. So you're like, I'm sincerely happy that you're here. And, yeah, you're the man, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eddie.
See ya.
Love it.
All right, everybody. That's it for today. That's it for this week. We'll be back on Monday. We'll see you then.